In 1989, Connie Fillmore, the great-granddaughter of Unity co-founders Charles and Myrtle Fillmore, was asked to write a summary of Unity's teachings for the Daily Word magazine. And she summarized Unity's teachings into 5 main points, which have since become known as the 5 principles of Unity. These principles form the basis of how we understand our relationship to the creative energy that we call God. They help us to form the basis of our understanding of our relationship to each other. And they offer ideas for how we can improve our contentment with life, including how we respond to those things that are sometimes unpleasant and that fall outside of our control. The 5 principles can be briefly summarized in my words as follows. Principle 1. By whatever name you have for the creative power that forms us and all that is, that power which some of us call God, Principle 1 says, there is no spot that God is not. Principle 2 says, because there is no spot that God is not, then God must include us. We live, breathe, and have our being in that power. We are creative energy expressing in human form. Principle 3, because we are creative energy, we create constantly. We create how we respond to the experiences in life with our thoughts and with the ideas which we hold about those experiences of life. Number 4, because we create consciously, it would serve us well to create consciously. We create constantly. That's principle 3. Principle 4, let us create consciously with intention and attention. When we take time to be still in prayer and meditation, we realign our power, we restore our energy, and we open ourselves to more wisdom. Principle number 5, because we are human, we recognize that habits are hard to break. Our goal then is to live the principles. When we live in an awareness that we are one with all that is, and we apply our ability to form our experiences with the power of our ideas, then our lives can be full, abundant, and peaceful. So, 1, there is no spot that God is not. 2, including us. 3, we create constantly. 4, let us create consciously. And 5, let's live from an awareness of these 4 steps. Because it's easier to remember things when they're put to song, at least it is for me to remember things when I put them to song, I created a song of the 5 principles set to the tune of Happy Birthday. It goes like this. One universal power, a network of all ideas lead to experiences. Take time to be still. You'll live in peace. Today, let's look at the 4th principle of unity. Create consciously, using prayer and meditation. And for me, I add rest. A longer version of this principle with more words reads this way. Prayer is creative thinking that heightens the connection with God mind and therefore brings forth wisdom, healing, prosperity, and everything good. Or, in my happy birthday tune, take time to be still. To begin our look into the power of taking time to be still, it's worth taking a step back up to principle number 3 for a quick review of the third principle, which is ideas lead to experiences. As I mentioned, we already create constantly. We are energetic beings. And although we don't understand it well, we know that to a certain degree, we have this energy to attract. How often do we think of someone and then they contact us out of the blue, or we see them? It is a perfect example of this strange and unknown, at this point anyway, energy that we have that actually does connect us together. We also know that how we experience life is based on our outlook, on our thoughts and ideas. Think of it this way. Events themselves are neutral. Our ideas about those events lead to our enjoyment or our lack of enjoyment. For example, if we don't like snow, we may dread a snowy day. If we enjoy snow, we may look forward to that same snowy day. The same event, different ideas, different experiences. It is in this way that thoughts become things, that we create our reality, our experience of the things that are presented to us in life. The purpose of principle 4 is to acknowledge that we already create and to offer us an opportunity to focus on what we want to create, to be more deliberate about what we are choosing to focus on. We take time to consider what our current ideas are and to rethink those ideas. And we become aware of our creative power, which we then direct with intention and attention. In this way, we make our life a living prayer, creating consciously. Imagine that you're on a dance floor, dancing to music. The music is life, the events of your life. You, as the dancer, get to create how you dance with that life. Whether it's a dance which feels spinny and out of control, or whether it's calm and measured and flowing with the music. When we take time to be still, we allow ourselves time to step off the dance floor and catch our breath. Look at the dance that we've created and decide what beat we want to focus on. Take time to be still invites us to do 3 things. 1, to rest. Step off the dance floor and take a breath. Step 2, meditate. Consider the dance that we've created, whirling and out of control, or graceful and beautiful, and be open to new insights, to new dance steps. And 3, pray. Choose the beat we want to focus on and claim only that. Rest, meditate, and pray. Let's look at each of these ideas for a few minutes. First, rest. Step off the dance floor and take a breath. In our 21st century culture, rest is often confused with laziness. In her book, Braving the Wilderness, Brené Brown talks about doing an event with Dr. Joan Halifax, a Buddhist teacher, a Zen priest, anthropologist, activist, and author of several books. And in preparation for their talk that evening, they had a dress rehearsal in the afternoon. And Brené says that after the dress rehearsal, she went to Dr. Halifax, and I quote, she said, "I'm wiped, but I guess it's off to the meet and greet." I'm wiped, but I guess it's off to the meet and greet. That was a Freudian slip, but a good one perhaps. I'm wiped, but I guess it's off to the meet and greet. Dr. Halifax looked at me and said, "I'm going to my room to rest before tonight. Why don't you do the same?" Brené writes, "I told her that sounded great, but I felt bad saying no. And I'll never forget what she said to me. She said, 'Tonight we exhale and teach. Now it's time to inhale. There is the in-breath and there is the out-breath. And it's easy to believe that we must exhale all the time without ever inhaling. But the inhale is absolutely essential if you want to continue to exhale. If you want to continue to give, then there must be time for rest." Right now, wherever you are, as you are listening to this, exhale, breathe out. And without making yourself too dizzy or falling over, notice how hard it is to stop yourself from inhaling. We inhale. It is a necessary part of our breathing in and out of our being alive. And just as we need to inhale in order to stay alive, so we need to rest in order to continue to give and be present for the people we care about. Rest is like that inhale. It energizes us. Spinning on the dance floor is like a mighty long exhale, which can be exhausting. Like Brené's example, we may find ourselves tired, wiped out, but so caught up in the dance of our own expectation and the expectations of others that we forget that it is our right, and indeed it is our responsibility, to take a breath and inhale. That it is what we need to do in order to be the best presence for the people we care about. If you've traveled by air, you've heard that spiel that flight attendants say, that you want to put the oxygen mask on yourself first so that you can be available for the people that you care about. It's not true just for an air flight. Rest means removing yourself from the chaos and taking a renewing breath so you can be there for the people that you care about. Okay, now, most of you who know me are probably laughing to yourselves and thinking, this is the pot calling the kettle black. Rhona is always on the go. Yes, I admit that I do like to be productive. In the song of Doobie Doobie Doo, I am more comfortable in the do than in the be, more comfortable doing than being. And I have been intrigued and found the concept of the Jewish tradition of the Sabbath to be so useful. The Sabbath is not for productive work. It is for eating and singing and reading and reflecting and spending time with your family, sharing intimacy with your partner, and refraining from unpleasant conversations. And best of all, honoring the Sabbath by being non-productive is expected. Rather than being seen as lazy, this time to rest is viewed as necessary, a way to honor life and focus on that which is important. People of the Jewish faith keep the Sabbath for at least 24 hours from sundown on Friday evening till after the sun sets on Saturday. Can you imagine that? What would be the consequence for you if you allowed yourself even 12 hours to have a Sabbath of your own? It would bring more peace, a chance to inhale, a chance to focus on what's important in your life, an opportunity to go back to the hustle and bustle of the busy dance of life, feeling more grounded and more refreshed. Rest. Step away from the dance floor and take a breath. This falls under the category of don't just do something, sit there. Next, let's look at meditation. Meditation is where we have the opportunity to consider the dance that we've created. Are we whirling out of control, frenzied and chaotic? Or are we approaching life with a degree of grace and beauty? We consider that dance in meditation, and we open ourselves to new insights, to new ideas, to new dance steps, if you will. So a couple of weeks ago, I decided to start my mornings differently. I got up earlier than usual, and I began my day with a walk, just a short walk, maybe 20 minutes long, just enough to greet the day and feel the morning air on my face. And it felt wonderful. And for the rest of that first week, the days flowed smoothly. I felt calm. There was time for everything. And it just seemed that everything fit so perfectly together. It was like a minor miracle. At the beginning of the second week, I decided that seeing as I was walking anyway, I might as well listen to an audiobook. Now, I love listening to audiobooks. It's one of my favorite things to do is to read. And sometimes I don't have the time or the power, the energy to read. And so being able to listen is lovely. And so I thought, okay, I'll do that on my morning walk. And my morning walk became something completely different. All of a sudden, I was on task again. And although I enjoyed the book, I came home feeling less refreshed. In fact, one morning, I went back to bed when I got home and had a nap. When I considered the 2 weeks and the differences between the 2 weeks, I realized that for the first week when I walked in the morning, I had no agenda. I walked without any attempt at productivity, just instead walking for the sheer joy of it. Rather than doing, I was being, and I had a wonderful time. I also had some aha moments about the talk that I would prepare that week. During that second week, when I changed my experience, it became much more doing. I recognized that I had less energy, but I also was less aware of the beauty around me. And rather than being open to insights that bubbled from within me, I listened to someone else's wisdom. The point I'm hoping to make here is that there are benefits to taking time to unplug. If we find ourselves on a habitual path, if we find ourselves caught in a situation that we're unsure about, if our current dance doesn't include some time for self-reflection and for appreciation of the world around us, then taking the time to be still without any incoming stimulus that is a direct, like listening to a book, that taking time to be still and just be open with no agenda is a wonderful way to welcome new ideas. If you want to have a deeper enjoyment of life, consider meditation. If you don't know where to start, perhaps it's something that you find difficult, then think of something that you do that doesn't require much thought. For some people, meditation may include sitting quietly and listening to gentle music. For others, it may look like going for a walk or sitting outside and enjoying the warmth of the sun. For some, it may include writing in a journal, where often in the process of writing, we discover a deeper awareness about something. It may mean spending an afternoon fishing or watching the waves on the beach. Whatever works as a time of quiet for you, I encourage you to consider taking that time. Meditate. It not only refreshes and helps us to rest, it also gives us space to consider the dance that we've created. Is our dance swirling and out of control? Or is it graceful and beautiful? And then being open to new insights, new ways to approach the dance of life, new ideas. And then third, pray. In prayer, we create consciously. We direct our energy so it comes from a place where we hold the vision of life, love, and peace for all. Remember, we already create continually, whether we are aware of it or not. We are infants, though, in our understanding of how to create our experiences in a deliberate way. If the entire 14 billion year history of the universe could be compressed into 100 years, the Earth will have been around for 30 years, and humans will have been around for 1 day. It's no wonder then that we are only just beginning to grasp the power that we have to create. Think of it this way, maybe it will help. The idea that the universe responds to energetic vibration. It doesn't need words. The words that we speak in prayer are for us to clarify our thoughts and our intentions. When we speak consciously with intention, and with focus, we create more powerfully because we vibrate more powerfully. Prayer helps us to focus our energy. In prayer, we take the time to focus on aligning our thoughts and feelings with the highest vibration which we can imagine. The most loving, most joyful, most supportive, most generous, kind, patient, faithful idea that we can come up with. When we intend in that way, our energy becomes more positive and more powerful. And that, I believe, is what Jesus meant when he said, "Ask and it shall be given to you." The Greek and Hebrew words that are translated ask in the Christian Bible connote a demand or a claim. So Jesus' words can be read as claim, and it shall be given unto you. When we name an idea, we claim the idea. Many of us grew up thinking of prayer as a petition, where we ask God for favors and more often than not negotiate with God. Deliver me from this, and in return, I'll do this. It requires a shift in our thinking then to move from supplication, that please do this and then I'll do this, to affirmation, to praying from the level of power, of co-creation, tapping into our own power to support the outcomes that we desire. We are so used to God being out there that we go to fix our problems, that we forget that we are in God and that God is out there and in here. Let's work together. A typical prayer might sound like, please make my friend well. Please make sure that the doctor doesn't make a mistake. Please let him recover quickly. Please be with his wife because she's so worried about him. Powerful prayer or affirmative prayer would rewrite something like this. With the power of my imagination, I see my friend as well. I bless the doctors, their skill and their training. I surround my friend and his wife with thoughts of upliftment and peace. The attitude is powerful, not powerless. It is positive rather than a summary of the problem. And that way, when we align ourselves in that way, we put ourselves into a place of pure energy and pray from an awareness that we have access to creative power of our own. So take time to be still. Rest. Give yourself permission to take a rest and keep a Sabbath. Meditate. Unplug. Be open to new ideas. And pray. Direct your thoughts to what you want to create. If you have any doubt about whether it's okay to take time to be still, take your inspiration from Jesus's example, where we are told in Luke chapter 5, verse 16, that Jesus often withdrew to lonely places and prayed. The fourth principle of unity: take time to be still. What can you do to be still? Where can you give yourself permission to be still? Rest. Meditate. Pray. I bless you.